quickly get started. We already had things ahead of time, but that's not a big deal. Okay, once you guys are able to see my screen, please let me know. Is it visible?
It is, yes, it is visible.
Let's double check. Okay, now. So today is my topic is more talking about discussing about the majorly focus on Power BI, but we're going to start a journey that how we can get started with Microsoft Data Analytics platform. And I'm going to talk about some fundamentals because it is very important to understand the concept that what role, what specific task you try to accomplish through the tool. Now, the tools like a Power BI and many other tools that are available in Microsoft Quiver, they are like a swift knife. They literally can be used for so many different purposes and so many different levels. And what is specific target that you're trying to achieve with a specific tool, and what is specific form of the tool that you want to be used. That's what you're going to discuss here. And I will try to introduce you with the available resources that can definitely help you to learn more, to adopt a Power BI, how to get started. Because getting started is one of the most hardest thing to do in technology world. Once you really just start the things all to come on your way, especially in 2020 where everything is online, available to tons of content without needing a single penny. I'll try to navigate as much I can and quickly. I already had a pretty detailed introduction. Thank you for the lady who just gave an introduction earlier. My name is Usama Wahab Khan. You can call me Usama, father of two beautiful, gorgeous daughters, love of my life. You can see both of them, Manha and Lina. And these are my contact informations. These are my Twitter handlers, and this one is my LinkedIn handler. So if anybody want to have a conversation anytime, feel free to have a conversation, join me, have a question, talk about data. I love to discuss data, AI, ML, cloud, DevOps. These are the area which interest me, or I have an expertise in these areas. I've been serving as a technology from last 2 decades. I'm also Microsoft certified trainer, and I have been honored to deliver training across the globe. And I'm very fortunate to deliver a training across 7 continents and train more than 5,000 professionals in my career. I do publish a couple of books, so if you like to read, please grab views on from Amazon. They are available now. So, and a few of them I'm going to showcase by end of the month. So before the holiday season gets started, you can grab some of my books as well. Very proud of my MVP community, and that's why I'm here as well. That one of my folks from my community has shared the information, so I thought that why not to we stop here and share some goodness and learn from others as well. So first of all, congratulations for the whole Microsoft Pakistan user group who have arranged this as all webinar kind of thing, and thank you for inviting me here. So let's me just quickly turn off the camera and let us focus on the content. Okay, it's better. So we're going to get started with data analytics. So we're going to talk about that. What is data analytics? How we can get started? What are the things that we should have to keep in mind? Or what happened? Somebody apparently. Here we are. So, so the first thing we're going to talk about what is data analytics and where we are coming from and what we're trying to achieve here. What's the end goal? So first of all, we're going to discuss that, and then we're going to talk about how to get started, what are the hurdles in between, and then we discuss all remaining things. So nowadays the word data, it's a buzzword. People want to become a data scientist. When I go on the internet and I see the people on LinkedIn, everybody have to add this buzzword in their profile, calling themselves a data analyst, data engineers, data scientists, and there are lots of data job roles descriptions are just pop up, and it's very overwhelming. But when you talk about the data analysis is basically a process of identifying a data that can be used for analytics and find deep insights, that find the hidden insights that is available in data. In a process of data analytics, What data analytics do, what data analyst will do within a data, it identify the patterns, help you to identify patterns, it help you to find hidden trends in the data. How? First, it take the data in a raw form, cleans it, transform it so it becomes more easy to accessible, easy to calculatable, easy to model, that basically called model, and find a relationship between multiple entities and multiple data set that called data modeling to find a meaningful and useful information in a simplest way. Data is then crafted into the story through the reports or the dashboards. It being drive that it help decisions maker. It help decision makers from a different teams and different business backgrounds and different association to find a quantifiable numbers, to find a quantifiable information at glance at fast. You guys have, might be every one of you have get a chance to see the pyramid of Gaza, at least in movies. And the Giza pyramid, if you guys notice that, the story that is written in the Giza pyramids is still till today is readable. People able to understand and process it, how they live, what their lifestyle was, and what their mechanics they use, and so many things about them. And we don't know what language they speak, or we don't know about the many things, but their scriptures, if you notice that, they are more visual. They're very visual. There are graphics out there. There are lots of signs, which is easy to understand. And after the hundred and thousands of years, people are still able to understand and process that. Humans understand these graphics much more faster. That's the reality. If you show me this graph, I can clearly tell you that that particular product or service is getting more unit to be sold. But if you show me the huge long list of an Excel files where I have already collected data, it might take me a little time to use my cognitive analytics and cognitive intelligence to recognize, okay, what's going on. So humans have a great analytics by both, but again, we can enhance the capability and focus on the decisions. And nowadays, we call the concept of a data-driven economies. That means every decision should be driven by the data. Data-informed decisions are better, more impactful. And data is stored in so many varieties. The data is stored in so many places. Data can be in databases, data can be in the files like Excel files or Cricut files or JSON files, or maybe many other ways. Also, data can be in online applications, like my friend has talked about earlier about the Dynamic 365, Salesforce, and SAP, Success Factor, SharePoint, and it might be other custom applications that you have built in house. So first, the problem is the data is stored so much in a so much wide range of resources, or so many different type of stores that we have where the data can be. Data can have different types. Data comes on different velocities. So data comes on very fast, that called real-time data. Data comes in a bigger chunks that call the batch processing or data at rest out there. The data that need to be slowly processed and find more deep insights as well. So we have to use the data and make it usable that we can project reports with it. We can project dashboards with it. We can use them into really quantifiable information. We can perform our analysis on it. We can find insights. So another important thing that what we're trying to do with the data analysis is basically an art of a telling a story with the data. Data analysis is the telling the story with the data. And it is, if you can see this Venn diagram, you can see that the data analysis or data story is placed in the center. And if we talk about it, what is in a general concept of uh, the data story? So what is, first of all, what is telling a story with the data, or data storytelling? Data storytelling is a skill to craft the narrative by leveraging data, which is then contextually or contextualized, finally to be present to the specific target audience, utilizing not only data analysis or statistics techniques, but also using visuals, quantitative analytics, contextual analytics, presentations. So all this element, when they work together, be able to tell the contextual story. So in a very simplest term, so it is a skill that help you to narrate the story via using data. So that is a very important thing that you have to understand, that where we are coming from and what we do. So it's a ability that effectively communicate insight from the raw data sets, from the raw data in Excel file, to narrate your story by using visualization. It can be used to put the data inside in a specific context to the target audience, which they can understand. So it can use a specific terms, it can use a specific visualizations, like for suppose the Gantt charts are pretty much popular within a project management. So might be the other special contextual analytics required some different kind of visualization, like you have seen lots of different charts being used by the stock market, and there are few specific charts that exist. Also, in advanced level, you go for R and Python area where you have a more advanced analytical options as well. But we try to simplify things here. We don't try to go above and beyond. We try to remain simple in this area. So data is basically through the analysis and accurately complete the survey of base of the data we have. We use the data so we can perform different kind of analytics like descriptive, prescriptive, diagnostic, cognitive, so different categories of analytics can be performed. What are these categories we're going to talk about in a minute? Also, at the same time, we select a nice visualization as much we can. So we should use a platform which basically provide a wide range of visualization that can help us to express our story, that can help us to present our story as well. So data and the narrative can be useful and only in a context if you can tell the story, if you're able to communicate your message, and that message can be conveyed through the right visual and the right way of configuring visual as well. And narrative, because it is something that is semi-technical out there, it's basically a verb written narrative out there and so-called storyline. So you can say storyline, that what basically I'm trying to express, and the communication inside should be gleaned from the data. It should be clearly explained from a data and a recommendation to inspire your audience. So that's what is basically the the concept of modern day data analysis and a concept of storytelling. So we try to understand the specific audience, their language, their acronym, what particular category they belong, industrial and regularities terms as well. So it involves so many things. But these are the some basic fundamentals that definitely help you to understand. So many people come to me and ask me this, Osama, I want to become a data analyst, and what should I focus? And they're super focused on the BI or the tool or self out there, which is pretty great. You should be focusing on it. But at the same times, do not neglect or the importance of other areas, the domain knowledge, the understanding your users, understanding that how the data story need to be communicated. Moving forward from here, I have talked about that we do have a multiple type of data analytics. And that's how I create this nice chart here. I will put these presentation files on the my OneDrive or my GitHub, so you guys can download it later on. So let's start with the descriptive analysis, which is basically the more focus of the session. Descriptive analytics, it's basically tell you that it's mostly happen on historical data to find the patterns and understand that what is happening in my business, what's happening in my business. It's talk about the current situation. So when we talk about the type of analytics that's basically taking place, it basically try to answer the question by summarizing the data from a large data set to describing that what kind of outcomes it may happen. It happens on a historical data. We use KPIs, ROIs, kind of things out there, IER kind of calculations we perform. It tells us a story. It basically answers us that what is happening in my business. It happens, try to find the data uh, on my data sets that already happened. You try to find the events and understand what are the things that already happened. Okay, I know it's very confusing, but so just to be simple, this one is technically answer a very simple solution. It just answer that what is, so we create an KPIs, we summarize the data, we use something like ROI, IR calculations, just for example. Okay, so we are summarizing information in a quantifiable numbers, try to creating a key performance indicator, for example, KPIs, KRIs, to just tell the whole story in a very single number that you don't have to really go into so much details. After once you basically reach understand the concept of descriptive analysis, a second in line, then you talk about it, It's the concept of diagnostic analytics. It's basically a subcategory or it's an extended category of prescriptive analytics. This is the basically ability to drill down to the root cause and also ability to isolate the co-founding informations to understand, okay, why this happened. You analyze that your sales are performing great in the month of November, but why? What happened? What are the influencer? What make my sales super good? So might be I can replicate that to another months and make more profit, or might be there's something catastrophic going on that just showcasing like I have a bad sales or I have a bad reviews. Why it happened? So I can help to find different tools to my business decision makers so they can find the root cause. It's more deep. It's more detailed information. Second is a modern form. It's a very big is a buzzword in the industry, and I'm really exhausted that people have just used this for so many times, and I have to also use this. It is basically that called predictive analytics. That what is predictive analytics? Uh, Predictive analytics, it's basically a normally the modern technique of statistics and machine learning, but the predictive analytics is again extension or a continuation of descriptive analysis. It uses that data. It uses historical data to train machine learning models or use a statistical technique to tell you what likely to be happen. What's likely to be happen. It's not the confirmation that definitely going to happen. It's a prediction that may or may not be true. They likely to be true based on existing event. It learned from an existing events that happened in the past and try to find the patterns and predict that what may happen in future. It normally involve machine learning or artificial intelligence or your statistical techniques to project what may happen, to predict what happened. Business strategies have can consist over the time period out there based on how the predictive analysis will perform out there. One of the key pattern that we able to gain the predictive analysis is machine learning. So historical patterns that being used to predict can be specify what kind of outcomes can be out. We can use different kind of algorithms in this area. So based on what kind of algorithm you use, you know that what accuracy you can achieve out there. And also it can be automated by using different technologies. So predictive analysis, it is a concept basically where you try to answer the question that what's likely to happen. Then we're going to talk about the prescriptive analysis. Prescriptive analysis, it's basically the continuation or evolution form or evoluted form or evolution of predictive analysis. So it's basically the evolution of that one as well. It evolved from that concept. Again, it's used machine learning out there. And it's very popular in a data science world, so using prescriptive analysis. Prescriptive analysis, it's talk about it. First, it answered that what I need to do once I able to find a production. So the predictive analysis that tell it likely to happen. Like I can say that if you drive on a same pace, whatever car you're driving at the moment, you will be late for achieving, or you will be late for the airport. You will be late for your destination. And then what should I do? Okay, I get the analytics. I get that I'm going to be late for an airport, but what should I do? Should I take a shortcut? Should I take some smaller, shorter route or reschedule my booking? What should I do? That tailor-made recommendation based on the existing data, the recommendations and actions and strategies that based on champions and challengers for testing strategy to outcome, that what kind of basic details that you need, what recommendation that you want. So that is basically prescriptive analysis. Prescriptive analytics talk about that what you should do in a certain case. If something happens, some events been triggered, that what are the recommendation to overcome that challenge, to optimize that technology, optimize that opportunity. If the Black Friday is coming, okay, every month you show me that the Black Friday hits, so we get a larger sales, and you hear in this year you based on a previous year growth, you tell me that we might have a 30,000 viewers or 50,000 customers on my website. So what should I do? What I recommend then? And what are the recommendations and what are the precautions I have to take into account? And based on current strategies, what are mistakes that I have, then I can avoid that. And I can use prescriptive analytics in this particular category as well. Last, not the least, I can go for the more details, but again, then just trying to respect the current time zone or time space here. So cognitive analytics is an attempt to draw an interface from existing patterns or data and drive a conclusion based on an existing knowledge base and adding and forwarding back the knowledge that you gain from a data, like self-learning feedback loop. So you learn something, so machine learns something, like a cognitive analysis can help you to basically find and determine in specific situations, especially when you're trying to gather information, building a knowledge basis. Cognitive analytics can be used for cognitive search, so a very popular area that can basically use the existing knowledge and keep improving that one out there. So if I search something, if I could not find, and then I navigate, it learned that pattern. And next time it recommend that. So it improve on a continuous cycle, like human works. So these are the some basic type of analytics can be performed out there. Cognitive analytics is an advanced form of analytics. It's normally used by machine learning algorithms. So these are the areas where, as a data analytics, that you have to focus or where you have to work. These are the items that you may encounter in your daily life. Again, as I say that there's lots of polarization going on in the world of data. There's lots of data roles going on, and it is very important to clear their task. So I'll just try to go very fast on it. I'm still going very fast. Data analyst, what they do, and what other people do. What are the other roles that maybe you have to aware of it? Let me just small down the. Where's my mouse? Okay, here we go. Sorry. So if you can see my screen, I have listed down the multiple roles here, so you can basically see them as well. So you can see the data science in the heart of them, and there are the multiple roles. So business analysts, it's their non-technological roles out there. This is a person in many organizations, you may see that people have wear multiple hats. So it happens nowadays. But this role is very similar and is one of the most confusing one as well to data analyst out there. The key differentiator between these two roles is that business analyst is more close to the business or the specialty. He is the interpreter. He interpreted the data that comes from different sources and what kind of things, terms, and specific calculation that need to be offered through visualization. He know about the business. He know about the branding. He know about the what KPI matter most. He know about that what kind of analytical uh, instruments can take a more better impact. So he's the person who can help you to translate the raw data into the actual impactful numbers. I have worked with the developers. They spend hours and days to build some kind of KPI. And when they present it to the business, they say, yeah, it's good, but doesn't matter. Did you done that one? So that's the question. And for the developers who build or data analysts who just work on it, it just they get motivated, time get wasted, and it is important. If the business analyst done his job or he hasn't been engaged properly, they can avoid all those problems. Data analyst is enable businesses to maximize the value of their data set through reporting, visualization, and using tools like QuickView, Tableau, Power BI, and many others. Some advanced data analysts use the R and Python as well to create more advanced things. They do the cleaning, the profiling, and transformation of the data. Their responsibility include designing and building scalable data models and enable them for users so they can perform advanced analytics through reports and dashboards. So, and the data analyst have to be of have a people skills as well, because he's a person that who have to interact with the multiple stakeholders to identify and the requirement and define what are necessary data need to be worked with it. And the data analyst have to work with the data scientist, data engineer, and data steward teams as well. Data engineer is another role that is basically overlapping sometimes, and I don't like it. And so data, if you talk about the data engineer, so data engineers are the one whom have the coding skills, whom have the whom are responsible for making sure that the data will come from different sources and available for you. So they build data pipelines. They control ingest and egress of data management out there. How data need to be ingested, how data need to be built, how the platform need to be secure, how we need to do a transformation, how we need to perform an ETL task, how we need to do installation of a components. So they need a coding background. They need to understand tools and environments. They need a hands-on experience in nowadays tools like in Spark, big data analytics tools out there, data stores. So they're responsible for the maintaining a whole data project. And they are the techie peoples. They enable the platform so you can use the data. They are the one who's make this data available for you. They are the one that who will help you to transform the data as well. There are lots of overlapping scenarios between data analyst and a data engineer when it comes for a cleansing, transformation, and ETL jobs. But there are a few clear boundaries for that. Then there are data scientists who basically use the data that built by the data engineers and build the predictable models or build a machine learning models that can be furthermore used by the data analyst for different kind of tasks like a predictive or prescriptive analytics. I'll not go furthermore in deeps in these roles, but the data administrator are the one who's focusing on an administrative aspect of databases, including maintaining, installing, and tuning the databases. So what task data analysts do? What are the tasks that data analysts do in everyday's work? So data analysts perform several of tasks in every day. So number one, data analysts perform a preparing of a data. That's the first task that you have to do as a data analyst whenever you start a product or any project. So you likely to divide most of your time between preparing a data and building models. So most importantly, the major task that you have to do and that's going to really impact on the results of your report is the trust that how clean, accurate your data is. Nobody going to use a report if it does not tell the right story or it has some miscalculation or an inaccuracies. I have worked with the customers in past where they have lose their faith in certain intelligent platforms or some application itself because it doesn't tell them accuracy out there. They say, "Oh no, it's not really updated. I have to recheck on Excel." If they have to recheck on Excel, that's the whole point to having a dashboard. So they lose the trust. So whole product is gone. So trust is very important. And how trust gain? By the verification and proper preparing that avoiding the abnormalities. Try to removing the anomalies from your data. Try to make sure that you perform the right cleansing process, profiling that what kind of data that you have, understanding the cleansing process, removing the unnecessary values, columns or errors or missing values or incorrect formats, all that. So when the data comes for the reports, it do not have any ambiguities in it. Same time, transform your data and make it more trust relatable for business context. So we try to remove the columns, rename them, give them a better formatting, give them a better data type selection as well. So the date look like a date. Date can be used with multiple functions and able to really use it. Second task is data modeling. Data modeling when we basically try to make a data in a state that it can be usable and it is in a ready state out there that can be consumed. So it's a process to determine that how many data sources or tables that you're going to fetch into the tool and define a relationship between them, finding a correlationship between them, finding that perfect model that can reduce the QD behind the scenes and load on the behind servers and simplify how correlated information can be fetched like stack schema and other things that might have heard in past. Visualization, selecting the right visuals and creating reports using an artificial intelligence capabilities that built on nowadays in visuals in Power BI to narrate your story and finding a right aspect. And the visualization is more like an art for me, honestly speaking. It's a task that you can where you bring your data to life. So it's one of the most important segment for me as well. That's the end results that what users are going to see. And as a manager, you're going to manage all that. So you have to understand the platform, the distribution, how it's being consumed, how it's being shared, what are the data sets are coming, how the data is refreshing. All is that your task. You have to look into it. And you also have to understand the analytical part. So analyze is a task that is basically to understand the interpretation of the information that displayed on a report. It is contextual and it's according to the mark what you're trying to achieve. There's so much in depth in these areas that definitely I love to talk about it. And but again, just trying to make sure that we have enough time. So how all that we can do. So you see that there's lots of things in this area, and the Power BI aim to solve this problem. When the Power BI comes to the picture, that's what Power BI is trying to do. Power BI trying to solve all those things. They equip you with the all right tools that your life becomes super simple. You can do all your tasks. You can perform all kind of analytics. You have a great set of visualization, great way of distribution, and great way of providing this analytical reports or dashboard amongst your users. But what is my question here? What is Power BI? Anybody know what is Power BI? Anybody would like to tell me what Power BI in your opinion? If you know what's Power BI in your words, tag me on Twitter. Tell me. So, what's Power BI in one word? So, Power BI. Many people have this confusion that Power BI it's a single software or a service. No, Power BI is a collection of services, softwares, and connectors. Again, connectors are kind of fun software. So, what are these? So, Power BI first of all, available as a service provider. That means that Power BI gives you the capability to build reports. So if you want to build report, they have an authoring tool. So Power BI reports can be authored from two different points. One, directly from your computer, and you can download an application that called Power BI Desktop. So if you go here, I already have downloaded. You can download that one from Microsoft Windows Store or directly from Power BI site. So these are the apps that are definitely available that one can download. Just give me seconds. Okay. So here we are. Okay. So this is Power BI Desktop. This is one of the applications that you can use to work within a Power BI. Power BI again is a collection of applications and services. So Power BI allow you to use a Power BI desktop to clean data, to model data, to process data, to build reports and transform them, create a complete kind of reports out there, connect with the multiple data sources, and then publish that one. This software can use as an independently. It does not require any subscription or anything else. It does not require literally anything. You can just connect with your data and it will be just there. You just connect the data and it will be there literally. It is that simple. You can connect your favorite data sources. So if you can see that, if I just going to click here, you can see here there are tons of data sources literally are available here that one can connect. So Power BI have a concept where connect, build, and share. The concept is very simple: connect, build, and share. So you can use your favorite data sources to connect. So the connection process become very simplified, and any user can do that. And so making available this data, the availability of data can be organized or can be managed through data engineer. So, or you can, if you have an access over it, so you can connect files, databases, and services. There are tons of stuff are literally available that one can use. So you can use folders and paths different ways. So if you click here, like an Excel book, and I can literally connect many services, many data stores in this particular area. And if I just going to use this financial statement, so if I click here, I can quickly see the financials here. I can just use to load that. So once we load the data, this tool have a capability to provide us a data modeling capability, which means that I can use that tool to build a data model. That's a fantabulous task here, which means that I can clean my data, I can transform my data, I can perform all sort of cleansing process. So it do have an option here. If I just click here on the transformation tab and on this navigation, and FYI, the new version of Power BI Desktop is available. This one is not the latest one for a reason. I'll tell you later on. So you can come up here, you can remove all the unnecessary columns in a very easy way, and it does not require to be an expert to get started. So when you start things, you don't need to be an expert, okay? You can just simply come here and change things as well to whatever thing that you want to basically classify. So so I can say the brand discount, I don't need this. I can just literally remove that. I can change the pricing for suppose here, the manufacturer pricing. I can give them a much more better formatting as well. So in this environment, it's very easy, more UI friendly, less codey that everybody can work with it. So as a startup, you can really find things here and you can connect your favorite data sources. Once you're done with the data sources, you can basically find a relationship between them. So you can see that how correlation they can be, how they can correlate the data. And once the data is available, you can literally just use a drag and drop capability of a Power BI to build reports and charts. And the creating a reports and charts, it's very simple. So reports, it's basically a multi-page item in the Power BI that is a collection, and each page, so report's a collection of pages, and a page is a collection of visualization with certain filters. So you can set a filters or slicer, whatever you call them. And for suppose if I'm going to use something like that, this graph charts, so in a few seconds I can able to create a nice charts here. And I do have an AI based charts, so if you go and insert tab, you can find the AI based charts as well that can tell you much more detailed story about it. And once you're done with this all visualization, you have hundreds of options available here in marketplace where you can find so many options for different type of visuals. Visual represents normally kind of charts and graph in Power BI. You can also
Usama,
create a,
yeah.
yeah, please.
Sorry for interrupting in between. I just want to highlight one thing. Just want to give you a time check.
Yeah,
So
I'm
our
aware of.
next speaker in line. So yeah, I would appreciate if you can wrap up in 5 to 10 minutes. Thank you.
Sure, fine. So you guys can see here, this is basically the way that you can start the Power BI. Another important segment that I quickly like to tell you about the Power BI, it's that how you can bring Power BI to the life. So another important segment of a Power BI, it's a Power BI service that is lives in a cloud and that can be accessed for free or different licensing, premium and pro license. Once you're done with the reports, when you're able to create this reports and charts and graph, you want to distribute those reports and share them amongst your colleagues and amongst your organization where you want to control and access, you want to refresh the data, and there's so many things you want to do with it. And that's the tool that called Power BI service in a cloud can help you to do that. This is a place where you can distribute your application or data that other can consume. So it's a collaboration platform where you can publish a report so it can be consumed by others. And once this is published, once you create a data in a Power BI desktop, you publish that one in a service, then it can be consumed either on a web browser or a dedicated apps which are available for Android and iOS as well. So that's, I think so, help you to understand the clarity. So you have the data sets, you have the Power BI individual tiles as well. So one of the important things that when you basically connect Power BI within a multiple data sources, it create and connect a data set. From data sets, you can create multiple reports. And in the Power BI, allow you to create this report. So you can read the data from many interfaces, means multiple data sources, and have a single data set. This is basically a single data set. Okay, like I have shown you earlier. And same thing can help you to build multiple reports now in Power BI. And this data set can refresh data when the new data comes, it can refresh it and show you the calculation with updated information. And you can upload that data set into the cloud as well in real time or imported mode as well. So these are some highlights. Okay, but the most important, I try to summarize that one. I come out here and in a contest that I can provide you some additional learning resources. So I have this amazing whiteboarding app here, okay? And I'm willing to give you the access to this board. It's a literally a complete course. So I'm going to tweet that one on my Twitter profile. If you guys wanted to grab this, it's a complete course which have a complete learning model available. It has every single thing that one need to learn a Power BI. On top of that, I recommend that you guys to basically use this one. I will put them in a chat. If my moderator can help me to share these links with an audience, I will be really thankful. And okay, this is the one.
Yes.
So if you basically come across here, this one and another one, uh, yeah, Microsoft have something that called learning days. So you can use Microsoft learning days and you can also use Microsoft Azure training days. And these trainings are available for free. You don't have to spend a penny on it and you can learn Power BI for free. And these resources are fantabulous. You can go on Microsoft site to just literally get started. And at the same times, you have lots of other learning resources that I have arranged in this Clockson board. So I'll just give you the link here. Just feel free to grab this link and just please don't delete things from here. So I have given you this link. You guys can use this link. It has every single thing that one need to basically learn an exam or focus on Power BI. I do explain lots of concepts here. If you guys need any support or any other information about Power BI, feel free to have a conversation with me on a Twitter. That's my Twitter profile. Let me just quickly show you. And if you have any questions, since we have a very less time here, and I'm just going to put it in chat. So here we are.
All right. Thank you so much,
Okay,
Sama, for your time.
welcome. So feel free
Yeah, it
to
was great.
join me
Yeah.
later on, and thank you for opportunity. Have a great day.
All right. Thank you so much for the session. It was a great learning opportunity for everyone. Thank you so much. Next, we have Mike Harley, and he will be speaking on Microsoft Power Platform Accessibility 101. So, welcome, Mike, for the to the event. The stage is yours.
Good morning, good evening, and hopefully you can all hear me okay. Let me just share my screen. Yeah,
Your
okay.
screen is visible, and you are also audible.
Okay, so am I good to go then?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome. Hope you've been having a fantastic event so far. Um, it's yeah, quarter, quarter to 10 in the morning over here in the UK. So I know it's much later in the day for you uh, over in Pakistan. So I hope you've had a fantastic time of it. And before we get started, massive thank you to the sponsors and partners of the event. So you can see all their logos on the screen there. So massive thank you to all of them. Yeah, my session is Power Platform Accessibility 101. My name is Mike Hartley, and I'm also known as Heart of the Midlands. And today, the agenda, I'm going to give you a quick overview of what accessibility is. It's one of those things that people kind of don't always fully know what it means, what the phrase means. Going to look at kind of the rules or the standards that are there to help us and the tools that we can use. Give you some very quick everyday wins to get you started on a journey.